I am Morufu Asani, professor of urban and regional planning with a specialization in integrated development planning, environmental management, and planning advocacy. Ladoke Aketola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. I am also an accredited consultant certified by the Federal Ministry of Environment for over 2 decades. I am Morufu Asani, professor of urban and regional planning with a specialization in integrated development planning, environmental management, and planning advocacy. Ladoke Aketola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. I am also an accredited consultant certified by the Federal Ministry of Environment for over 2 decades. Also accredited by the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR. I also have accreditation with a number of state ministries of environment, the defunct FEPA, Federal Environmental Protection Agency. I was accredited by them as an environmental consultant, and I sit on the panel of a Federal Environmental Impact Assessment Review under the Federal Ministry of Environment. I have consulted for multinationals, United Nations agencies, Central Bank of Nigeria, state and federal government agencies, refineries, and so on and so forth. During my useful age, especially when I was in school, I ate politics with passion. I love teaching with passion. I have been teaching since my primary school days. I was a sub-teacher to my mates. The same thing when I was in secondary school. Most of the times, in some of our subjects in secondary school, I will form the notes, give it to the teacher on the instruction of the teachers. So after some time, they no more vetted my notes. I'll be the one to form the notes and write it on the blackboard for my mates. And I had a number of study groups. Even the subjects I was not offering. For instance, I wasn't a student of literature and English. I wasn't a student of government. I did the history. However, I was holding tutorial classes for government students, literature in English. Even when I was in Form 4, yet to be mature for WAEC, I was holding tutorial for Form 5 students who were preparing for WAEC in literature in English. So I love teaching right from the beginning. I hated politics with passion. But as I was growing up, especially when I left school, when I graduated, not because I didn't have good certificates, but my crime was that there was nobody to stand for me as a godfather, nobody to nominate, to donate me. Let me use that word, donation. That this person, Omawani, Ebawagba. In 1996, that was the time I decided to go into politics, because I was coming from a very humble background. I got to this level of education by luck. So I was denied of something that money can buy, but God gave me another thing that money cannot buy. I was a very brilliant small boy from a humble background. I had nobody as a model. We were living in the village. I didn't have any elder brother, uncle, or whatever who had attained tertiary education. I was just struggling on my own. No counseling, no tutorial, and no mentorship, nothing. So when I graduated from the university in 1983, I was looking for a job. I couldn't get any, to the extent that somebody who got admission into the department from which I graduated, after I graduated, who got admission, he graduated, after service, he was employed in this same state that we own together. The excuse against me was always that there is no vacancy. So in 1996, a senator took me to one of the government agencies in charge of recruitment, and he handed me over to him. Chairman, let me say it exactly. Let me quote him verbatim. Chairman, slot mẹ́ta lẹ fún mi ní Òṣogbo local government. Mo ti mú kan wá, ìkan tó rè o, ìkejì ní, mo mú kẹta bọ̀. Right in my presence, the chairman brought out a special file on which it was written special request. He took my CV and credentials and wrote the name of the senator on it, from Senator Lagbaja. I had 100% assurance that I had secured a job. All along, I have been struggling, trying to establish my own firm, because urban regional planning is a profession that is practical, so you can establish on your own and do well. But I didn't have the resources. Renting an office, purchasing of drawing equipment, and other things that I needed. So I wanted to start off with a public job. So when they shortlisted, with confidence, I went to the agency. On getting to the notice board, I couldn't find my name. And the executive secretary of that agency, who had known me before, when I entered into his office, I said, Oga, I couldn't find my name on the list. He said one thing I can never forget in my life. He said, Alihazan ọ̀rẹ́ mi, ẹni tó dífá fúyẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ fẹ́ra náà lọ dátọ̀ náà gbà fẹ́ pọ̀, wọ́n ti wá fẹ́ lómi ìrọ́pò rẹ̀, because they believe you are nobody. Because they believe if they offend you, they have offended nobody. But the girl they brought was not even from my local government, and she took the slot of my local government. The man said they believe that if they offended that girl, they would have offended somebody, that is the person who brought her. May God make you to become somebody. You are not getting this job. So I ruminated over that. Okay, is it how the children of the masses will continue to suffer? So that was when I had a change of impression about politics. That statement, politics is a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game. It is an act of erratic idiocy and stupidity to me. We have good people in politics. We have bad people in politics. Just like we have good people and bad people in all sectors. Even in journalism, we have bad people among you. We have good people among you. In town planning, my own profession, we have good people among us. We have bad people among us. Among market men and women, there are good ones, there are bad ones. So as long as people think they are good, abandon politics for the people they believe are bad, we will continue to find ourselves in a bad situation. So I decided to go into politics, not because of material wealth, not because I wanted to accumulate wealth, but because I wanted to make impact, especially taking care of my natural constituency, the oppressed, the suppressed, the marginalized, the cheated, the deprived. So many children of the poor who have no voice are living in abject poverty, avoidable penury. It's very sad. Anytime I go to the village and I see my contemporaries, I don't always leave the village a happy man, because there are some people who had potentials. We never knew then that if you have 3 credits, you can still sit for WAEC or GCE to make up. Nobody enlightened us. But the opportunity I had was the good brain, magnetic one that God gave me. I never wrote any exam twice, except Maths 101, 102, when I entered university, because I'm not a good student of mathematics. So now, managing politics and academics is a very tough thing. I was in politics before I went into academics. I got that academic appointment at the time I decided that I will no more seek paid job. And why did I take that decision? I attended an interview in 1998, precisely August 1998, and that was the last interview I attended. We were 2 that were interviewed. They needed somebody who has minimum of bachelor's degree in urban regional planning. I was already on my master's degree, MSc urban regional planning, the same OAU where I graduated. The second person had BA geography. He had never started master's program, and that institution is a academic oriented one. So I was rejected, but I performed brilliantly, I knew, in that interview. Somebody on the panel of the interview, after the interview, he met me outside and he said, let me say it in Yoruba the way he said it. He asked me, "What my oti lo?" When me oti lo, sir. I said, "Baba, bóyá mo lè foti kọ information nípa interview tá ṣe ni." Information wo? Ta ló sọ fún ọ pé vacancy wà ní àyìn gan? Tí vacancy bá wà ní àyìn, ṣé irú rẹ̀ la wá gbà wọ mẹ́ta sí ni? Fanatic. Mo wá ìmọ̀ o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lọ wá 1996. Mo wá ìmọ̀ o. Then I responded. God gave me that trait. You can never embarrass me unwarranted, unprovoked, and go scot-free. Then I responded. I said, "Baba yín náà sì bímọ o. Ọmọ òrukàn ni mí o. Ìgbọ́n tí mo bàbá mi, ìyá mi ló tọ́ mi o. Ogún màmá mi lè ń rá láre o. Ọlọ́run ó dáa. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ wá o. School yìí, public school ni o. Gbogbo wa la jọ ní o. Nítorí ẹ̀sìn ni lẹ́sìn pọ̀ mí. Gbogbo àti Muslim àti Christian la jọ ní o. Ọlọ́run ó dáa. Fún tẹ́sẹ̀ yìí, mi ò dẹ̀ ní apply sí ẹni ìwé àmọ́. Mi ò dẹ̀ ní ṣe interview níbi kankan mọ́. Mo ti dá iléeṣẹ́ tara mi lẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n tí mo rówó ń bẹ̀, which was true. I established Alasan Associates Nigeria Limited in 1998, January. So that interview held on August. Between that January and August, I didn't. The income I got was not up to 2,000 naira, but I was persistent. I was consistent. I was determined. I was reading widely to develop myself. So I boycotted anything public service. So that this academic job came in 2006, and when I was called, I declined. I said I didn't need any job any public job again. I am on my own and I'm doing well. So at that time, I had already had registration, accreditation with relevant agencies, both local and international, that are relevant to my profession. So it was that time I was trying to penetrate Abuja to get better money. Here in Osun, Ondo, partly Oyo, I was getting good money, but I need better money. So I was trying to penetrate Abuja. That was the time this academic job came. I declined, but the person who called me that I had a letter convinced me. He said, "We know your antecedents. You are going to be a good teacher. We need somebody like you because you are on the field already. So you have been practicing for a number of years. Your teaching will be richer than somebody who never went out of four corners of classroom." And you know what the Prophet Muhammad said about some professionals, certain professions, teachers, then law enforcement agents. They are very rewarding jobs. They are special people before Almighty Allah. That person convinced me. That was how I took up this job. However, it has not been easy. So politics badly affected my academic career progression. So there were too many diversions before I decided, let me leave politics for some time. Private consultancy, I left it for some time. So I faced academic, which was one of the reasons my professorship took this long before it came. I am not in the academics because of professorship. I am in the academics because I wanted to impart knowledge, because I wanted to build brains. Whether professorship ever came or it never comes, it doesn't matter to me, but it is what I deserve. There are many factors that led to the delay. One of them, I have told you, my involvement in politics. So it caused a misunderstanding between the record. There was no balance, contradiction between the record of Osun State government that appointed me and my record in Lautech. So, but we resolved it. After it was resolved, it took a long time before it was implemented. My associate professorship, leadership, was 2018, but I got it in 2023, 5 years after, though backdated. This professorship supposed to be 2021. I was given this year, 2026, but backdated to 2022. So 4 or 5 years later. The beauty of the thing is that the delay did not end up in denial, and it's not a new thing. I thank Almighty Allah that it was not posthumously announced, because such a thing had happened several times. So somebody would have died, and the information about profession will come to their family. Yes and no. Yes, because I lost 2 big opportunities within that time. If it had been announced in 2021 or 2022, so an opportunity that came in 2023, another one that came in 2025, I needed an evidence of being a professor. But I believe that Allah the Almighty will replenish everything that I have lost, will come back in manifolds. In the academic community, I thank God I have a legacy of bringing people up apart from academics, bringing them up morally, shaping their worldview. I interact with my students like their mates. I interact with them like a father. My students are very, very free to me. They are free to me. I have many of them here at Alasan Associates Nigeria Limited. I even volunteered the name of my firm for some of them who are yet to secure job and are yet to be matured for professional certification to practice, to be using the name of my firm, and I didn't take cover from anybody. So I have that legacy. Many, more than 100, had passed through me here. They are privileged, and some of them are doing well. A number of them are even bigger than me today. Some of them are abroad. I was surprised last year. Some of them abroad, one in Canada, 2 in the UK, 1 in America. So they contacted one another, they called me, they celebrated me, and they sent something sumptuous into my account. So I thank Almighty Allah. In politics, it's unfortunate that I have not been able to make the impact the way I wish. Why? People are alleging me of inability to bench. You know, there are certain traits that you cannot compromise, that are natural in you. Some may be due to your faith, some may be due to your principle. So there are certain things that must not be compromised. But Alhamdulillah, despite that, I can count 4 people who are in big positions today. 3 at the federal level, 1 at the state level. Through my political activities, they were elevated. But I, the facilitator, I am where I am. I have no regrets. I know that God will compensate me. I am not less active. I'm still in politics. I am still in active politics. You see, there is something many people do not understand. If you are an academic and you know your onion, you should find a way of making impact with that knowledge. When you get to the corridor of power, or you are a friend of the government, your knowledge can be useful for your people. Let me give you some examples. During Ogbeni Ralph Aregbe's struggle, before he came on board as governor, we were close, and I introduced some project proposals to him, which he appreciated. The urban renewal, the Osun urban renewal project of Aregbesola, I am the proponent. Yes, I am the proponent. I was the one who did independent audit of basic education, which they use to establish old school. It was my satellite town and model village proposal that they used to build this Oromia new town. Though I argued at that time that we don't need a new town in Osun State. Osun State is compact, highly urbanized, the most urbanized state or province in the sub-Saharan Africa. We don't need a new town. And if at all you want to build a new town, you don't build a new town within the town you want to decongest. The essence of a new town is to decongest the existing towns. Now, You say you want to build a new town within the town administrative center that is already congested. And Ogbani Aregbesola agreed with me. So I developed the proposal, model village. So I proposed Kajola along Oshogbo-Ilesha Road. I proposed Sekona. I proposed Okuku. No, Inisha. So few other settlements like that in the 6 geopolitical zones of the state to decongest cities like Oshogbo, Ile-Ife, Ilesha, Iwo, and so on and so forth. So, but they changed it to Newtown. So, I also had a proposal. That was political. I will not mention it. But all these proposals were implemented without my involvement. And it is certain that the proposal can best be implemented by the proponent. No matter how voluminous a proposal is, it is an infinitesimal part of the idea of the proponent. No matter how brilliant the implementers are, no matter how brilliant, it cannot succeed. Because in project development, in project planning and development, we consider certain things. But unfortunately, many of our politicians, even technocrats, so they give preference to project importance over and above project relevance. All relevant projects are important. Not all important projects are relevant. So being an indigenous professional, I know what Osun State people want, and I have the information about Osun development, about Osun potential on my fingertips. I contested for local governments in 2023 and 2003 and 2007. So I indicated my intention to contest for House of Representatives in 2014. In 2018, I stood up for senatorial, but in all this, I wasn't able to make it. That of senatorial, I couldn't even get the money to obtain the form. So now I don't have it in mind to contest because I don't have that capital, and it is sad. Our politics is monetized, so we are losing many people who have many things to offer. Money now determines who gets nomination. It is sad. So I don't have it in mind to contest. Mr. Abdullah asked,
are you willing to work with
that if I'm willing to work with the government.
the knowledge that you have about it?
All along, I never waited to be invited. I never waited to be invited before I offer my professional assistance. Let me give you an example. People may not know. At the beginning of this state, on commencement, we did not have Ministry of Environment. During the tenure of our last 2 military administrators, I volunteered a proposal and justified it why we must have Ministry of Environment. When Chief Visi Akande came, I did the same thing. So I did not wait to be consulted. So, and I liaised with the House of Assembly then. I gave them a proposal. I submitted one to the House of Assembly. I submitted one to the Office of the Government. But that government did not have interest in Ministry of Environment. When Governor Oyinlola came, I did the same thing. So whether another person did same or not, I don't know, but I know I did it. So the pioneer commissioner of that environment, Alhaji Kasim Adio, somebody introduced, an elderly person introduced me to him and him to me. that I should work with him. And I worked with him pro bono. So that I did as a patriotic son of Osun State. But they gave me a job which we never completed till today. I was the one responsible for drawing the policy on environment for Osun State. I submitted the draft. We never met till today to finalize. So I was the consultant to the state government on environmental policy. And I did one during the tenure of Alhaji Gboyega Oyetola, environmental remediation of our illegal mining sites. People have destroyed our environment. Our water are polluted. Our cocoa plantation and other cash crop plantations have been destroyed. It's a very serious problem, and it goes on unabated till today. I assume if former Governor Gboyega was able to make his bid for second term, maybe he would have implemented our recommendations. So I am willing to work with the government. Anybody who becomes the governor of Osun State. But I, Morufu Asani, as a member of the APC, my wish is that Ambo wins the gubernatorial election. You, as a journalist, as an outsider, as a neutral person, you can say we don't know who will become the next governor. But we politicians, we are dreamers. But some dreams are more certain than the others. Our dream of bringing Ambo into power is certain by the special grace of God. Academic work begins when you become a professor, because that professorship is not meant to bear the title alone. So you have to leave academic legacy, intellectual legacy that will serve as point of reference both locally and internationally. So the next thing for me is to embark on researches before I leave academic, maybe voluntarily or when my retirement matures. So the next thing for me now is to focus on aggressive research, to make publications, delivering lectures at seminars, conferences, locally and internationally. I always offer this advice to students, the younger ones. In Nigeria, our system recognizes the grade of your certificates, whether first class, second class upper, second class lower, or whatever. But knowledge is more important than what is on paper. So I always advise people to pursue knowledge, to develop themselves. Before I got an academic job, I already had a home, I already had 2 cars, I already had 2 wives and a number of dependents. So I didn't need salary job. Until today, I've not been able to adjust to salary way of life. I've not been able to adjust. So younger ones should have it in mind to be job makers, not job seekers. And anybody in this generation, the generation that follows my generation, that is not ICT savvy, is bound to fizzle out of the system. No matter your field, you need the knowledge of ICT, especially those that are relevant to your studies. So let us focus knowledge, pursue knowledge, grade of certificate is okay, but knowledge is more important. It is not the grade of certificate that is making me here. It is the knowledge I acquired. Let me give you 2 examples. When we were in 300 level, Dr. Olaiwola, now retired Professor Olaiwola, LM Olaiwola, he was teaching us environmental impact assessments. And he said, it's a gold mine, no. We said it in Yoruba. He told us how somebody contacted him to prepare environmental impact analysis, and that it didn't take him more than 3 days, and it took 20,000 naira. 20,000 naira in 1992 is a big money. Yeah, it was a big money. No, 1991. I was in 300 level. In 1991, it was a big money. So the interesting part of it was that he told us that what is spent, the amount is spent on it till he completed that job was not up to 1,000 naira. The remaining 19,000 plus was in his pocket. So when I couldn't secure a job and I established my own firm, I remembered that statement. Because drawing of a layout, building plan, there is little opportunities there. Most of those kind of jobs are being taken over by our colleagues in the civil service. So, and they work, some of them work with people who can always obey or accept whatever offer, which I did not take. Therefore, they did not patronize me. So I sat back. I read very wide on environmental impact assessment, remembering what Professor Olaiwola said in 1991. And 80% of my income in this firm comes from environmental management, environmental impact assessment. You can see copies of environmental impact assessment. And it has taken me to all parts of this country. And I have even represented Nigeria outside the country, in the Middle East, on the issue of environment. One in Saudi Arabia, one in Kuwait. So knowledge is more important than the content of your certificate. Because today, to your employer, even to yourself, to your clients, it is about what you show, not about what you claim to know. I am Morufu Asani Asani, but if I will complete it, na oriki is Adigun, Morufu Adigun Afolabi Fafunwa Asani, because I'm from Iliakoda Afa, so my traditional name is Fafunwa. That's another story.
Let's hear the story.
Okay. People gave me that nickname when I was contesting for local government chairmanship. This is how I came about that nickname, Ọmọ-Ọkọ. There was a township, a community program, Orokide, during the regime of Governor Oyinlola before Aregbe came. So some politicians, indigenous politicians from Osogbo and Olorunda, PDP, ACN, then not APC. So they clashed on the floor of that program and they disrupted it. So they put the interest of their political party above the interest of their origin. So innocently, I was saying it, that thing is so mali. Ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ọlọ, ọmọdé akéèyàn ọjọ́ Ọmọ-Ọkọ. So that was how I came about Ọmọ-Ọkọ. Since then, people started calling me Ọmọ-Ọkọ. But when they call me Ọmọ-Ọkọ, I will say gbogbo wa náà lọmọ-Ọkọ. Èmi kàn jẹ́ alága Ọmọ-Ọkọ ni. Not my biological child, but my mate firstborn is the last born of my mother, so I call him my firstborn. People know him too as Ọmọ-Ọkọ. And if you look at him very well, we resemble each other.